Good morning from the woods. We're finally here. This is the first camp out. This is the first overnighter that I've had since Christmas, and it's only actually the second time I've been up here for the whole year. The last time that I was here actually was after the UK contingent event at Yarnfield Park, which I did a quick video after that, and even that was only a flying visit. It was just a 15-minute wander around, make sure everything was okay, and then I had to leave. Whereas last night I slept over, yay! And we're here again tonight. I haven't had a good look around yet because I've only just woken up and I arrived here in the dark last night, but I can already see I need to do a fair bit of strimming. Just everything is so overgrown at the moment. So that's the plan today after we've properly woken up and had a coffee. But you can just see behind me that all the footpaths are overgrown, and just over there is where me and the kids normally hammock camp. So I need to get that sorted out as well. But first thing on the agenda today is having a coffee. Now, in a bit of a dilemma because I haven't brought a stove with me, and I could quite easily light a fire, but I don't want to. It's too warm to light a fire, and not only that, I've got work to do today, so I don't want to light a fire and then just let it burn out, because that to me is a waste of wood. But what I do have from last night is a couple of empty beer cans and a can of petrol. So I'm going to make a penny stove, see how that goes with petrol. The problem is with penny stoves is you normally need methylated spirits or alcohol. I've never done it with petrol before, but we'll see what happens. It's either going to work really well or blow up. Either way, we'll see what happens. But one way or another, we are going to get a coffee on. So let's give this a try. Right, so I'm really not sure how well this is going to come up on camera, because like a plum, I have completely forgotten to bring my camera stand. So we are just winging this now. But essentially what you need to do is cut the bottoms off 2 cans, put them together, poke some holes, fill with petrol, light, and hopefully we'll be able to get a coffee on. That's the idea anyway. Obviously don't use your best knife for this. If you're using a knife on the cans, I'm just using my cheap Mora knife for this. Let's drain out the beer as well. Still got some dregs in there. Now these two won't fit together straight away, because obviously they're the same size. So what we need to do on one of the pieces is cut a line out, and then we can fold it in slightly on itself, and then hopefully they should just slip together then. Like that. And you should get something that looks roughly like that. Then what you need to do is put some holes in the top, because this is where we're going to put the petrol into. and then some holes around the side. I have no idea how well this is going to work with the petrol, but we'll give it a go. I've done it with alcohol before and it's been a nice little burner, but I'm really not convinced about the petrol. Right, because I want to be putting the kettle on top of this, I want to make sure it's as level as possible. There we go, that looks like it should work. So just as easy as that. And then what we do is we fill it up with petrol, put a penny coin or any coin over the top. I'm not sure if I've got anything in my wallet, but I've just found this beer bottle lid, so I'll just pop that over the top. It's basically just to stop the middle from catching fire, and then hopefully we should get a ring of flames. And then we pop the kettle on top, boil away, have a coffee. Let's give this a go. Right then, moment of truth. Let's give this a go. You're not going to need much in there. Pop the lid on top. And give this a light and see what happens. Nothing. Great. I have a horrible feeling with petrol it's a bit overdone it. But you know what, at least we'll still boil the kettle on it. And then we have it. It's a little bit more vigorous than what it would be with methylated spirits or alcohol. But you know what? If you forget a stove but you've got beer cans, dead easy to do. Right, so the coffee is now done and dusted. And I think it'll be irresponsible of me to say to you, yeah, give it a try, because honestly it tasted grim. You could taste the hydrocarbons in the coffee water. It wasn't pleasant at all. And not only that, the the kettle got absolutely covered in soot, so that's going to be a pain in the arse to wash off and ruin a sponge. But anyway, that aside, let's go for a wander together and see what needs to be done, because like I say, it's been a couple of months since I've been up here, and obviously spring's here, so things have started to grow now, and we've had a couple of storms in there. So I'm going to spin you around and we'll have a wander around together, and we'll have a look. So first of all, I know I need to sort of clear out the hammock area, because I would say all of that undergrowth there is shin height, and I like to hang my hammock between that tree and that tree. My daughter uses that tree and that tree, and then my son, when he comes, he uses that and that. So want all of that cleared out, just so it's not catching on the legs. Coming over to the wood store This usually has a tarp going all the way around it just to keep the wood dry and protected, and it's, as you can see there, it's camouflage, so you can't really see it from the outside. But the only problem is with this tarp is you can only get the wood about that high, and then it starts falling out the back and off the sides. So what I am thinking about doing is over here I've got some of this safety fencing that I've been putting around the hazel coppice to stop the deers from getting to it. I'm actually thinking about putting that around the outside of the wood store to stop basically to keep the wood in place, and then we can fill it up higher as and when we prep some more. So let's go for a wander over here. This footpath isn't too bad, I guess. I mean, it could do with some of the side strimming down a little bit, but apart from that, that's okay. But on our property, we do have a right of way for our next door neighbours over there, and it's not urgent because a car could easily come down here with the strimming, I mean, but I do need to get rid of this fallen branch here. That's not going to be too hard. I think it's all dead anyway, so I think I could just use brute force and snap all of that up. But where I park the car, that's a bit overgrown as well. Could do with trimming that down. The glade over there, I like to keep that growing because that's a good place for butterflies. Butterflies tend to live there. I do normally trim a footpath from there onto that other part of the woods there, because in that section over there is where I compost all of the toilet waste, and we hardly ever used. I do have a compost bin, so it's all separate. I'm not just chucking poo everywhere, but we hardly use that bit of wood anyway, so not too concerned about that either. But yeah, this main right of way could do with streaming, but again, not urgent. Let's take a wander over here. Got a couple of big branches that's fallen down. Oh, I don't know whether it's because we're only just coming into spring, but those ash trees are looking a bit bare. Might have to keep a bit of an eye on those. Last year they were in full leaf, so before seeing that just now I wasn't too worried about them, but yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Ooh, we've got some wildflowers. First time I've seen flowers here in the woods. That's pretty. Yeah, I really am just hoping that it's just because it's still early on in the... I say early, it's 1st of May now. But those trees aren't looking clever at all. Well, if they have to come down, at least that's some decent amount of firewood for us, so that's all good. So let's take another quick wander back to the campsite, because this is one of the footpaths I use to get into the main area of the wood. I have a feeling this is all going to need doing as well. Yeah, it's not awful, but I think I might run a strimmer down here just because I know my daughter will kick and moan because look, we've got stinging nettles there. And she's the sort of person that doesn't look where she's putting her feet, so no doubt will walk straight through them. And over here is another footpath that I put in last year, and God, yeah, this is looking well overgrown. And it's amazing how quick it all just grows back once you've trimmed it once. Okay, so there, it's not awful. You can walk through it, but again, my daughter will kick off and moan about it because she likes going for wanders. This bit here has all stayed relatively low, so I'm not too worried about that now, but in fairness, there is so many oak leaves over here that it just kills everything back anyway. I'm not too worried about going into the main bulk of the woodlands today, just because I'm on a limited time budget today, because I'm only here for tonight and tomorrow morning. And after that debacle with the petrol stove, I have just discovered that I have no more petrol left. I only had a little bit left in the can, so I need to go out and get some, which is going to be a half an hour round journey from here, at least. So yeah, let's go and get the petrol, then we'll come up with a plan of what we're going to tackle first. I think obviously it's going to be that fallen branch across the right of way, so I'll get that sorted. Then I think I'll do this footpath that we've just walked down, then do the one into the main bulk of the woodlands, and that should be about dinner time and beer o'clock. So speak to you later. Alrighty then, so that's all of the important strimming now done. The only bit I haven't done is the right of way, going from the bridle way up to our next door neighbour's woodland, but that's not important because a car can still get up it, so I'm not too concerned about that. I will probably do that either later, once my arm has stopped vibrating, or I'll do it in the morning. It will get done, just not right now. So right now I'm going to take a walk down to my mate's woods because I've been watching her channel and she's built a treehouse, so I'm going to go and investigate, see what that's all about, and yeah, maybe climb up it and see what sort of view we get from up there, but should be interesting. So for now, I'm going to take a walk, have a bit of a breather. I've got beer. So speak to you a bit once we're there. Right, we're here, and rather surprisingly Sarah is not, which yeah, I'm finding quite shocking actually, because she's here every weekend, but today it would appear not. But I found a treehouse. Have a look at that. Oh mate, I'll give her credit, that's pretty amazing. I'll be honest though, judging from her videos, I thought it was much further down in the woods over there. Oh. Might have to send her a message, see if she's planning on being here this weekend. I like that. Not sure I could do something similar in mine, because I haven't got mature trees like she's got. Have a look up there. So that's what she supported her tree on. So with this patch here, I believe this is part of the ancient woodland, whereas mine has only been wooded since around 1969, I think it was. I think that's when they started planting trees. Before that, it was all just a field, surrounded by oak trees, which the oak trees we've still got, but we don't have any mature trees like there are here. So we'll have a look around and see what else we can find. I do think that is absolutely brilliant, but it's a real shame she's not here, because I'd love to go up and have a proper look around, but I'm not going to do that without her here, because I'm a big bloke and I don't want to break anything, and it's just disrespectful to go and have a rummage around somebody else's property without them knowing about it. I don't think she'll mind me just sitting out here, but yeah, I'm not going to go having a look in a log cabin. But yeah, so anyway, this camp is a bit bittersweet for me, actually. Yes, it is the first camp out of the year in my own woodlands, and I've been wanting to do this for months, basically. I know we're only in May, but we've still had 4 months before now. The problem is we're still having issues with the car, and it's got to a point where we need to just bin it off. We've spent so much money trying to fix this DPF issue, and it's just not getting anywhere. So I think it's time to call it quits. As much as I like the car, as much as my wife likes the car, it's dead. Just on the way up here, I had to clear the engine management light because it had gone into limp mode because the DPF ash accumulation had got too high. So from where I live near Sleaford to here, which is near Mansfield, I just basically drove it in third gear the whole way here, just to keep the revs above 3,000, and hopefully that's burnt off some of the ash. The light hasn't come back on, but it's still not cleared the DPF warning, and I don't expect it ever will. So yeah, so it's good that I'm finally back up here, but it's bitter because all solo camps that I have done for the last 12 years, I've had my little boy with me, my dog, Eddie. He absolutely loved the woods, he loved the outdoors, he loved the fire. I'll see if I can find some clips, because I've recorded as well that when I've packed away from the woods before, I've said to Eddie, right, get in the car, and he's had not a bar of it, he's just turned and run back into the woods. So this is also the first camp without him. We lost him We lost him about 2 weeks ago now, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And just last night, sat around the fire was strange, because usually he's in the chair right next to me, snoring his head off, and he wasn't there. And I didn't like it. We do have another dog, Max, but he absolutely hates being here, so what's the point in bringing him? The only time we'll bring him is if we're here as a family now. I don't think I'll ever bring him as a solo. I might try him, but if he's going to be unhappy, what's the point? I want a dog to enjoy being here as much as I do. So yeah, we've got his ashes back from the crematorium, and on his birthday, which is in July, we're going to come up here and we're going to sprinkle his ashes in the fire, because one of our funniest memories of Eddie was we went camping down in Gloucestershire, down to my wife's cousin who's got a woodland down there, and we had a big raging fire in the evening, and then the next morning when it was time for breakfast, we all sat around the campfire circle. The fire wasn't lit. We were all just sat around the ashes, and we were just having a cold breakfast, and all of a sudden we just smelt burning hair. It's like, what on earth is that smell? And then we looked down, and there was Eddie lying in the fire with plumes of smoke coming up either side of his body, and he didn't give a single monkey's. How he wasn't in pain, I don't know. So I had to drag him out of there, and all of his fur was singed. He stank, but he just didn't care. Yeah. And the night before, on the night before we said goodbye to him, we all gathered as a family, Eddie included, around the fire pit out in the back garden, and Eddie and I were up until about 2 o'clock in the morning just watching the fire burn down. We should have gone in at about 11:30, because I bought a few bags of wood from the local co-op, and that had all been used up by 11 o'clock, and we were just waiting for it to burn down. But I wasn't ready to go inside with him at that point. So the amount of wood that I had in my shed that was going to be used for projects, for building materials, like proper 2x4 pieces, it wasn't just scraps of wood or anything like that. I was using proper valuable wood, and that all ended up going in the fire. But yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning, all good things have to come to an end, don't they? So that was Eddie's last fire. And yeah, the fire last night was for him, because I do miss him. I know everybody says, oh yeah, he was the best boy, when they're talking about their own dog, but genuinely, I have never met a dog as well behaved or as placid as Eddie before. And I think whatever dog I get going forward is always going to be compared to Ed, because he was just incredible. Yeah. Anyway, enough of the soppiness. Here's to you, Ed. I'm going to sit here for a little bit, enjoy the woods, enjoy Sarah's woods while I finish my beer, and then head on back and maybe see what else needs doing, because I don't think it's dinner time yet. I think it's only about 4 o'clock. But we'll have to start thinking about dinner soon, because my tummy is telling me that it's nearly dinner time. So I will speak to you shortly. Alright, come on then, let's go. Come on, we're going home. Eddie, time to go, come on. Good boy. Alrighty, well, that's me going to call it a night now. I was just about to relax and sit by the fire and enjoy the evening, but the heavens have opened. It wasn't meant to be raining this weekend, but yeah, it's just started peeing it down, and it's not going to stop now until Monday. So it seems very little point staying here, because I haven't got any more jobs to do that needs to be done straight away. So I wasn't going to do any tomorrow anyway. So I see very little point in just staying in the tent. If I'm going to hang around and be stuck in a room, I may as well go home and enjoy myself there, because there's nothing else for me to do in the tent apart from play on my phone, and that just seems a bit of a waste of time for me. So I've washed up, I've had dinner, I've washed up. Now it's just a case of quickly loading the car and buggering off home. I mean, in fairness, it won't even take long to pack the car, because most stuff lives here anyway. The only thing that goes home with me is my sleeping stuff. But all of the cooking and cleaning and everything like that all stays here. So sorry, this has been a bit of a boring video. But I hope you had fun seeing Sarah's treehouse. And yeah, catch you on the next one. Bye bye.